Hey friends, I've got a new story for you today, hope you enjoy it. You need to move out, my mom said while eating Christmas dinner. Really? I asked, trying to stay calm. I pay the rent, the bills, and I buy the groceries. The next morning, I packed up and left without saying anything. Hi Reddit, before we begin, just a quick note, this is our new channel, and we're putting in a lot of work to bring you great stories. Please subscribe and help us get to 1,000 subscribers. Now, on to the story. Christmas dinner was supposed to be nice. I had cooked all day to make it special. I roasted the turkey, made homemade stuffing, and even baked an apple pie, my mom's favorite. The house smelled warm and cozy, and I hoped we could have one good holiday without drama. I poured drinks, set the table, and for the first time in a while, I sat down thinking maybe this would feel like a real family dinner. My mom didn't even look at me as she cut the turkey. She chewed, swallowed, then looked up like she just remembered something important. You need to move out, she said, like it was nothing serious. No feelings, no warning, just that. I froze, my fork halfway to my mouth. I blinked, hoping I heard wrong, but I didn't. My sister stared at me, and my cousin stopped chewing. I put my fork down and calmly said, I pay the rent, the bills, and buy all the food. You haven't worked in years, Mom. She shrugged, took a sip of wine, and said she wanted her space back, like I was just crashing at her place, not the one paying for everything. Here's a bit of background. I'm 26, working full-time in IT. When Mom lost her job a few years ago, I moved in to help her, not the other way around. She was about to lose the house. I paid for everything, rent, power, internet, even her Netflix. I never asked her to help with any of it. I thought, she's my mom, and she raised me, helping her now just felt right. But over time, she started acting like I was the problem. If the dishes were dirty, my fault. If the Wi-Fi lagged, must be me. If I got a phone call while she was napping, I was being rude. I let it slide. I figured she was just dealing with stress. I stayed quiet through her passive-aggressive comments, the cold shoulder, and all the guilt trips about being lucky to live in her house, even though, based on who paid what, it was more like she was living in mine. After she told me to move out during Christmas dinner, I didn't shout or argue. I just looked at her while she kept eating, like she hadn't just changed everything. I got up from the table and quietly left the room. In my room, I sat for hours trying to process it. There hadn't even been a fight, no reason, no big blow-up, just those 3 words, get out. I couldn't stop hearing them in my head. I started packing. I didn't even have a plan, but I knew I couldn't stay, not after that. She didn't knock. She didn't ask what I was doing. It was like she didn't care where I ended up, as long as I was gone. The next morning, while she slept off the wine, I grabbed my bag, laptop, and essentials. Then I walked out. No note, no goodbye, no drama, just silence. At first, I thought maybe she'd call, maybe she'd realize what she did and apologize, but hours passed, then days, still nothing. The woman I had supported for years didn't even ask if I was okay. I stayed on my friend Mason's couch. He didn't even hesitate to offer it. His kindness made me realize how cold things had gotten with my own family. After a few days, I found a small studio apartment on the edge of town. It was quiet, not fancy, but mine. No one telling me to be quiet. No one giving me dirty looks. No guilt trips, just peace. About a week later, I got a message from my younger sister. It said, "You won't believe what Mom is telling everyone." I called her right away, and what she said made me sick. Mom had been telling the whole family that I left her on Christmas without warning, that I yelled at her and stormed out, that I was selfish and didn't care about family anymore. Aunts were messaging her, offering help and food, telling her she was strong, saying I was ungrateful. I couldn't believe it. My own mom was lying to make me look like the bad guy. It wasn't enough to kick me out, she wanted the whole family to turn against me, too. And it was working. My uncle unfollowed me. My cousin kicked me from the group chat. All because of a story she made up. That's when I hit my limit. I'd kept quiet long enough. I didn't want to start drama, but if she was going to ruin my name with lies, I wasn't going to just let it happen. I thought about sending one big group text to tell everyone the truth, but that felt messy. So I did something better. I wrote a post, calm, honest, straightforward. I explained how I'd paid every bill in that house for years, how I never asked Mom for a thing, and how, after cooking a full Christmas dinner for her, she told me to leave. I didn't insult her. I didn't call her names. I just shared the facts and let people decide for themselves. I hit post and then turned off my phone. What happened after that? Let's just say, I wasn't ready for the response. I didn't check my phone for the rest of the day. Honestly, I was nervous. I didn't want to know what anyone thought. I didn't want to see if people believed me or if they were already too caught up in my mom's version of things. But later that night, I couldn't help it. I checked my phone, and the notifications were nonstop: messages, missed calls, comments, way more than I expected. The first message I saw was from Aunt Lisa. She had always been the most reasonable one. She said she was shocked and that my post made her realize she'd been wrong. She admitted my mom had a habit of twisting the truth, but no one ever questioned her. Aunt Lisa apologized for believing the worst and told me if I ever needed anything, I could go to her. I didn't realize how much I needed to hear that until I did. Soon, other family members reached out. Some were sorry, some didn't say much, but it was clear they knew they had been misled. My cousin Caleb messaged me and said, "You know, we always knew something was off with how your mom treated you." That hit me hard because, even though I lived through it, I always thought I was overreacting. It felt painful, but in a way, it felt like validation. But the real chaos began when my mom saw the post. I didn't tag her, but someone must have shown it to her. The next morning, I woke up to a flood of messages from her. First, she guilt-tripped me. "I can't believe you'd embarrass me like that." Then, she got angry. "You twisted everything. I never told you to leave, you decided to. You're just playing the victim, as usual." And finally, the classic, "After everything I've done for you." That last one made me laugh, bitterly. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. She had her chance to be honest, but she chose to lie. For the next few weeks, things calmed down. I stayed in my new apartment and started to feel like I had my own life back. No walking on eggshells. No tension. Just freedom. I bought a used couch, a table, and a coffee maker. I started cooking for myself, watching shows without headphones, and sleeping peacefully. It was strange at first, too quiet, but I grew to love it. I didn't realize how much noise I'd been living with until it was gone. Then, out of the blue, my younger sister wanted to meet. We hadn't talked much since I left. She still lived with Mom and didn't want to get caught in the middle, but now, she looked tired. She asked to meet at a cafe downtown, so we did. After some awkward small talk, she finally opened up. She told me things had gotten worse since I left. Without me paying the rent, Mom had started missing payments. The power got cut off for a day until Mom could pay it. She even asked Grandma for money, but Grandma refused. My sister said Mom was blaming everyone, especially me, for everything going wrong. But then she said something unexpected. "You did the right thing by leaving. You should have left sooner." That hit me harder than I can explain. Hearing that from the one other person who had lived in that house with me felt like a release, like someone finally understood and wasn't sugarcoating it. She told me she was thinking about leaving too, once she figured out how to afford it. I told her I'd help however I could, not with money, but with support. I wasn't going to leave her behind like I had been left. A few days later, I got a knock on my door. It was Mom. She was holding a store-bought pie, as if that would make everything better. I didn't fully open the door. I just stepped out into the hallway. She started talking about how much she missed me, how things weren't the same, and maybe we could have dinner and talk. I asked if she came to apologize. She paused and said, "I don't think I need to. I think we both made mistakes." That was all I needed to hear. I shook my head, wished her well, and closed the door. I didn't slam it. I didn't yell. I just closed it. Because after everything, I realized I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done. I had spent years trying to be the good son, the responsible one, the peacemaker. I sacrificed my comfort, my money, and my mental health to support someone who never appreciated it. But now, I was free. I left that post up. I never took it down. It wasn't about revenge. It was about the truth. I didn't care if Mom saw it as betrayal. The real betrayal was what she did that night over Christmas dinner, and everything that came after. It's been months now. I've redecorated my apartment, made it feel like home. I see my sister sometimes. We get coffee and she updates me on her plans. I know she'll get out, too. She's strong, stronger than she realizes. And me? I'm finally living for myself. No guilt. No strings. Just peace. Have you ever been betrayed by a family member? Share your experience in the comments below and subscribe for more real-life stories and inspiration.